So, our next story, we're going to jump into our next segment, folks. So, buckle yourselves in. So, as we know, there was a thing a while back called the Civil War. And in the Civil War, essentially the northern part of our country fought the southern part of our country because the southern part of the country wanted to secede from the country and be able to keep slaves, i.e., humans as property. And, well, we fought a big war about it and beat they ass. And now slavery is no more in the United States. Giant asterisk, unless you're in prison. However, there are still a lot of lingering effects, especially in those southern areas, in a wide variety of ways: economic, social, and political. And it turns out that one of the ways the legacy of slavery continues to affect the South is that, well, the southern politicians just really want to be racist. Like, really racist. Like, really racist. And one of the things that's been going on recently, we haven't talked about this a whole lot, the Supreme Court handed down a decision essentially saying, hey, Alabama, your voting districts are very racistly arranged to such a degree that actually you need to redraw your congressional map. And, well, in response to that, Alabama has essentially said, nuh-uh. U.S. Supreme Court faces outright defiance from Alabama. Now you might be like, but Jack, you know, maybe they just really care about the integrity of the original map they made. Maybe they just really care about that. Well, I think this first paragraph from the news story might give you some additional context. I'm just gonna read it directly. It was a legitimate surprise when the conservative-dominated U.S. Supreme Court ordered Alabama's conservative-dominated state government last month to redraw its congressional map and include either a second majority black congressional district or something quite close to it. Literally, the reason that Alabama is refusing to redraw its congressional map is because they don't want to have a second majority black district in the state. That's it. That's it, chat. Like, I know it's obvious, but it's just so wild that in 2023, like, they're like, well, we can't have a black congressional we can't have a second black congressional seat. That would just be ridiculous. We must only have one majority black district. Just holy shit, dude. So basically, the facts of this case are that instead of complying with the Supreme Court's order, instead of complying with the order, Alabama's legislature redrew the congressional map to lower the black voting age population in the existing district from 55% to a little over 50%, and then increase the second district's black population percentage to about 40%, which is not complying with the Supreme Court's order. So anyway, Alabama's legislature, in defiance of the Supreme Court of the United States, redrew the map, but like not the way that the Supreme Court told them to, and then the governor approved it. So that is now going to go back to the federal courts in August And so obviously there's going to be a political legal clusterfuck as a result of this. Yeah. It's some wild stuff here. Here. Let's just watch this little bit of footage here. Oh. Oh. Click the wrong button. Here we go.
Tonight, Alabama lawmakers voting to move forward with a new congressional map after Republicans refused to include a second majority black district despite court orders.
You all have basically dropped the F-bomb on the United States Supreme Court.
The move comes after the U.S. Supreme Court and a federal court ruled that the state congressional map was violating black voters' rights, noting that while the state population is more than a quarter black, only 1 of 7 voting districts is predominantly black. The court ordered the state to redraw its maps to include 2 majority black seats or something quite close to it. But after a special session this week, the Republican-controlled legislature claiming they came to a compromise, maintaining a single majority black district and including a second one that's 40% black.
This is what we call an opportunity district on results of the elections. If you have a candidate that's well-funded and well-organized, it is an opportunity district. Anybody can win it.
Throughout the week, lawmakers considered 2 dueling maps. The House suggestion included a second district that is 42% black, while the Senate map included a district that is 38% black. But Democrats and voting rights advocates argued the map doesn't go far enough, and they say it ignores a Supreme Court ruling.
They don't give all of Alabama's citizens a seat at the table for their voices to be heard.
Alabama is proven to continue to be a very racist state.
This statewide battle coming with huge national implications. Republican Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy keeping a close eye on the debate.
I've talked to a few to see if they're going to do something about it. We've watched that we have a couple redistrictings out through all the places. I'd like to know where they're going to go.
NBC News confirming he has talked to Alabama legislators as they drew district lines with an eye towards maintaining his House majority. All eyes are now on Alabama as dozens of other redistricting battles plays out in states across the country. Jane Tim, NBC News.
Armed with just a scrap of paper.
Goodness. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at with that one. Absolute nonsense. There is very little to it other than there are two. I guess there are 2 main factors here. One is that they are incredibly racist. And 2, they want to maintain Republican majorities. And one of the easiest ways for them to do that is to racially discriminate because African Americans overwhelmingly tend to vote Democratic. So by limiting the number of black people in a district, they are able to cut down on how many Democratic votes are going to be cast, meaning that they are able to use it as kind of a yardstick to determine whether or not a district is safe. It's essentially using the racism that they have and hold deeply and personally in their hearts to further their own political ambitions. It's racism fueled by opportunity to be political scumfucks. That's the technical term for it. So, yeah, this Alabama story it's going to be big, especially going into 2024. So it's something we'll have to keep an eye on. It's going to become more and more of an issue. Golly whiz, they say. If only there was a way to be anti-democrat and anti-democratic and racist. If only there was... Hey, wait a minute. I have a way. And then they proceed to laugh until they shit themselves.